Well, you want to answer some questions that have come into our chat room?
Let's bring it online.
Okay, this is Nina who says, I just lost my sister. She was 37 and had her whole life ahead of her. I don't understand why some people are saved from disaster while others are not. It doesn't make sense.
You're right, Mina. It doesn't make sense. And Solomon wrote about it. He said that time and chance happen to us all, that there's a randomness to the universe, that this is part of what God did. Is he still sovereign? Yes. But within his sovereignty, he allows for random things to happen. And sometimes those random things can be horrific. Jesus talked about it. There was a tower that collapsed, and in his day, people were saying, well, that's because there were terrible sinners on that tower, and God judged them and killed them on the spot. And he said, no, they weren't any worse sinners than anybody else. So even Jesus was saying that was random. This isn't something that is a planned thing. Now there's an overarching sovereignty, but it wasn't specifically directed, at your sister. And in your time of mourning, it's okay to grieve. And I really encourage people, it's okay to ask why. That's not a bad question. And sometimes we don't get the answer. We don't get the answer to why. Why did this one die? Why did this happen? Why did this heart attack happen? Why did this tragedy happen? Sometimes we don't get the answer. And the way through is just like Job. And there's a reason Job is called a wisdom book. He had incredible wisdom. He said, I will not curse God. I will continue to honor him and trust in his unfailing love. And when you understand that and understand all things work together for good, that God has our end, and regardless of the tragedies on earth, he has our end, and he's got us covered, and he's working it all out. And when we come to that realization, we'll come to a great wisdom.
Okay, this is Jennifer who says, once a loved one dies, can they watch over us and protect us from harm?
No. And this is something that over time has kind of crept into the thought patterns of the church. And no, don't pray to the dead, and don't look for protection from the dead. Don't have anything come between you and Jesus. And understand that we have access directly to God the Father through Jesus, and we can come directly to him and get answers to our prayers.
Well, here's a question from one of our viewers. I heard that continually praying for healing and blessings is wrong. I heard God gets annoyed with those prayers, and our prayers should solely be about worship. Is that true?
No, that's not true. And there's a reason that Jesus talked in parables about prayer. And one, there was the neighbor who knocked on the neighbor's door, and the neighbor responded, I can't get up and give you bread for your travelers because I'm in bed with my kids. But he kept knocking on the door, and because of his persistence, the neighbor arose. And then the unrighteous judge who wouldn't answer the widow's case, and her persistence got her through. But there's also a balance. Don't get into work-oriented prayer where if I pray 24 hours a day, or I have certain set prayer times and certain fasts, that I can work for my answer and I can work for the blessing. That's not it at all. And prayer is designed to open up the pathway to God so you can look to Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith. One moment of faith is all that's required. All that's required. So look at prayer as a way to increase your faith. It's not something that you earn brownie points with God with. And when you understand it's that persistence in prayer, what's it take to get me to faith to believe, then you get the answer.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for your questions. That's all the time we have for today, but we do love to hear from you and appreciate your submitting them.